Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the full moon in Leo that happens on the 25th of January. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Now, this full moon in Leo is a cause for celebration, and it's about happiness and being entertained and spending time with people you love. But I also get the sense that it's far more complicated and there are things going on behind the scenes which are being deliberately hidden. So I'm really interested to get to the bottom of this full moon to see what it's all about. I'm in Central Europe. For me, this happens at 6:53 in the evening. If you're west of Europe or Africa in North or South America, then it happens at lunchtime or in the morning. If you're east of Europe in Asia or beyond, then it happens in the evening of the 25th of January or early in the morning on the 26th of January. And I always mention this, but a full moon is a 3-day event. It doesn't begin at 1 minute and end at 1 minute and then it's over. You'll feel this and you'll be influenced by it on the 24th, 25th, and 26th of January. The chart you see next to me here, that's a snapshot of the sky at the moment this full moon takes place. So I'm going to analyze that to see what energy is created by the full moon and how that's going to influence us. And then I'll go through each sign of the zodiac from Aries through to Pisces to give you an idea of specifically what area of your life this energy is going to show up in. So, like I said, a full moon in itself is a reason to celebrate. The moon has worked really hard over the last 28 days. It's now completing its cycle and saying, time to have a party, to connect, to enjoy all of the good things that we've worked towards, and to let go of this build-up and to have a good time. But with it being in Leo, astrology based on the seasons and the northern hemisphere, it's kind of the height of summer when you can pluck apples from trees and have a picnic outside with people you love. So it really is a moment of, I want to be in the moment. I feel like I'm on the right track and I want to reward myself for how far I've come. At 5 degrees, it's about freedom. So the moon being the way you feel, there's a big focus and a big desire to have this notion of freedom and to be able to make choices and to say, I do want to go here today and I'm free to do that. That in itself is going to feel very validating. So if the moon is your feeling, then the sun is your head. It's what you're striving towards becoming. It's what empowers you and what you'd like to embody on a conscious level. And because it's a full moon, that is also at 5 degrees, but it's in Aquarius. So Leo and Aquarius, the axis of that is really interesting because they're both to do with the public. Leo, from this perspective of, I have a lot of fire and passion about this, so I'm going to motivate other people by being a public figure and I'm going to entertain other people. It's about the heat that's generated. Aquarius is also about the public, but it's much more about, I want to teach something, I want to show people the way, how to let go of things that aren't so positive, and I want to create a better understanding between everybody. So Leo, there's a great sense of self involved in the charm of the self. And Aquarius is much more about facts and ideas and figures. So the sun at 5 degrees in Aquarius is very much about, if I want to have a sense of freedom in my life and in my world, then I've got to have good communication with people in my life. Studying is a good idea and really becoming an expert in a particular field. Looking at what could be and what I could innovate through my intellect, that's a good idea because it could give me a sense that I've been of service and therefore I get to be free. You see, there's a condition associated with it. It's like you have a job to do and if you do that, then well done. So it's outcome oriented, whereas Leo is much more journey oriented, as in I want to have the reaction right now. I don't want to work towards something in a distant future. I want to connect with people in the moment and have a good time while I'm doing it. So it's an interesting opposition because what you can expect are a lot of people to be in your life at the moment, for a lot of communication to be going on. But what's less straightforward, I feel, is understanding where someone else is coming from or why you're being told a certain thing. Whether the reasoning behind that is altruistic and it's for the betterment of everybody involved, or whether there's a more personal angle involved. And what I find really, really interesting about this chart is that we have Pluto sitting right on top of the sun. Now, Pluto has gone through a big transition recently. I made a separate video on this. Pluto left Capricorn, where it's been since 2008, and it's gone into Aquarius on the 20th of January if you're in North or South America, 21st of January if you're in Europe or Africa. And it's the beginning of a 20-year era where it's about generating new ideas and new content. And whenever something is at 0 degrees, as far as I'm concerned, you get the quintessential nature of that. So we've got the firebird kind of re-emerging from the ashes, but don't think of it as a firebird, think of it as an airbird, like an elemental air creature that exists of pure thought and imagination and communication, and it's that kind of energy. And that then also opposes the moon. It's 5 degrees away from the sun. And that really splits the chart in half. So on the left-hand side now, we have Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, the South Node in Libra, Ceres, Venus, Mercury, and Mars. So I feel that's like option 1. And then on the other side of the chart, we have the part of Fortune in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, Chiron in the North Node in Aries, Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. And that's option B. So I really want to have a look at this, because the thing that's hidden here, I feel, is that the day's energy, or around the 24th, 25th, 26th, everything may seem very cheerful and to be ticking along nicely. And you may be like, why should I overthink? You know, if things are going so well, let me just go with the flow and like enjoy all the good stuff. But the thing that's going on behind the scenes is really that you have a big choice to make here, I feel. Do I go with discovering something that I love and working towards realizing that? Am I willing to put myself out there and to use my energy in a way that influences the outcome, but I'm doing that responsibly to create an outcome that allows me to work in a way that I love and adore? So that's a big choice. And then the other option is, do I look at connecting with the institutions that I've got in my life and find my way through that by being willing to adapt and willing to change with what I've already got? So both options are really practical in their focus. It's either how can I kind of use my energy by myself independently to get something going when it comes to my work, or on the other hand, how can I connect with big groups of people, and how can I use my charisma and my intellect and my ability to get the point across to create some sort of formal connection with others that gives me more freedom in my day-to-day dealings? Or is that out of my reach at the moment? Are things set in stone? So the question then is, again, multifaceted. It's, do I just have a good time and enjoy, you know, doing something fun for the day, like a boat ride with the kids? Or do I really look at what I can do on my own in terms of getting something out there? Or do I create bigger connections and more stronger relationships with groups of people who also exist out there? So you see, we've got all of these choices then. Do I focus on my inner circle, or do I broaden it? And if I do broaden the focus, do I make that more about what I've done independently, or do I look at how I fit into things? And in my experience, when these big questions come up, it has to do with identity. And it's really the choice between, do I want to have a good time in the here and now and enjoy all the good things I've worked for, like I would in a normal full moon, right? Or do I look at the bigger picture, and do I work towards creating these positive outcomes in future, and they're more drawn out positive outcomes? So for instance, if I try to create a good business relationship with this one company so that I can get my book published or whatever it may be, then if that's now published and it stays in print for 10 years, then you've got a good outcome for 10 years because of the decisions you've made during moments like this. And then the question is, do I make the most of the day being frivolous and enjoying the good times, which is totally necessary to have enjoyable moments like that? Or do I work intellectually, consistently to build something more solid in future that's been a dream of mine for a while, that involves other people, that's good for me, but not just me, but for everybody else, and that's going to be a solid and important structure and influence in my future? And it depends on your circumstances. You know, if you're like on your yacht with the kids and you're traveling around the Mediterranean, then it may be that that is fine. And that you don't need to focus on building something for the future. But if there's a great sense of, you know, I can go out with my friends today, I'll spend it with family, or I've been thinking about making these changes when it comes to my career, my work, my business, how I interact with the world basically, and how secure that feels. So it doesn't just have to be work related, it can be what you're working towards or what the plan is for the future. Do I want to consistently work at that today to get this positive outcome? So I suppose the question is then leisure time or work? And I would say that if you're trying to be tricked like this, then do have a good time, but try and pay attention to serious opportunities that come your way and that you may overlook, and give them your attention and focus. And yeah, try not to let an opportunity pass you by because you're, you know, doing things in the moment which seem really exciting. Okay, so let's see at some of the aspect patterns the moon makes and what's going on in the center of the chart. So I've mentioned the opposition between the moon in Leo and the sun and Pluto in Aquarius. Then we've got the moon forming a square, so more friction, with Jupiter at 6 degrees in Taurus. And Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system, and it's like a balloon, and it gets bigger and bigger. At some point it can pop, but it's also associated with good fortune, good luck, and really growth. So at 6 degrees in Taurus, it's a good opportunity to build something solid or to expand on something that already exists in some sort of way. And it's kind of leaning more towards doing the work on this day rather than just having fun, because there's good luck supporting it and you get something for your work. It's not going to be wasted. If you put the effort in, you get more than your investment in return. And then Jupiter forms another square with the sun in Aquarius, creating a T-square. And that's an opposition with two squares on either side. And if you tilt your head a bit, it looks like a big red triangle. And it's an unresolved area of friction. So it's caused by the sun and the moon opposing each other, standoff, right? And then it peaks with Jupiter in Taurus. So the way to channel this most effectively, all this energy, isn't just to be frivolous about it, but that doesn't mean that you're not available for fun. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying, like, try and manage that you're doing both at the very least. So the way to channel this most effectively is into happiness that exists in a more drawn out way. Not the immediate thrill of like having a hysterical party where everyone's just having the best time and then it's over a few hours later. But instead, I've got a passion in this business, for instance. So that's what I'm putting my energy into, and I'm going to build it in earnest. I'm going to sign the rental agreements and get the stock and open on the 15th or whenever it may be. Looking at it that way and being responsible is a better way forward than just living in the moment. But again, that's something that each one of us has to weigh up, because on the flip side, if you've been super responsible for the last 10 years and now you finally have a moment for fun, then I wouldn't forego that opportunity to have fun if it's been that long, you know? So it's something you got to play by ear. Then we have the full moon in Leo forming a quincunx with Saturn at 5 degrees in Pisces. Saturn is structure and security. 5 again is freedom, and Pisces is the connection to the higher realms. So there's a great sense of, it's okay for me to take a little bit of time off and to just have a good time and to live my life. I don't always have to be productive. So that's now saying the opposite. It's saying, don't be productive and have a good time. So we've got this standoff, we've got this back and forth via a lot of the planetary energy here, and that can often feel very jarring. If you do have to decide, and it's possible, I would lean into the productive side of things, because we have the lucky planet Jupiter in Taurus supporting new opportunities and supporting really, or providing the chance to build something really unique and solid in your life. So those are the aspect patterns the moon forms, but there's some other things going on in this chart which I want to look at and which are kind of interesting to me. Where do I begin? So first of all, yeah, the conjunction with the Sun and Pluto, because that's really a rebirth. It's that firebird, but in the element of air, of how you see the world. And you could argue that if I'm looking at things in a new way, playtime would open my mind even more and I'd get new creative ideas coming in and new plans. Or if it's I get ideas and I look at opportunities for change in a practical sense through work and being confronted with opportunities, if that's your way of experiencing a rebirth, then choose that option. But again, that's the key about this, that we're all going through a process of transformation and things are opening up for people. I don't have to be this person anymore. I was for whatever reason for 10 years, but now I want to be someone else. Or I've worked with this and discussed this at length, and I'm tired of it. I want to talk about something else. So whichever gives you that greatest sense of freedom, make sure you choose that for yourself, because it is about growth. So if you do have that feeling, you get that sense that you're developing as a person by walking on the beach, then go for that. But if you get it through browsing through the job ads for the listings that are available, then do that. It's whatever gives you the greatest sense of the best is yet to come. So I do want to look at the personal planets. We've got Mars and Mercury at 15 and 14 degrees in Capricorn. So that's great focus on the practical side of things. Venus is at 2 degrees in Capricorn, so almost a personal relationship with practical circumstances, work, income, living situation. And then Ceres is at 25 degrees in Sagittarius. So again, it's the push and pull between, do I tackle things head on and make things happen? And can't even say it. Will I be productive, or do I run off and have a good time? Sometimes enjoying yourself can be productive, especially if it restores your energy to the point where things get done very easily. Or working at something consistently and feeling like this was a job well done, or phase 5 has been completed successfully. If that gives you a sense of confidence, then go with that. So what else is happening? We've got Saturn, I mentioned, that quincunxes the moon. Then we've got Neptune in Pisces at 25 degrees. So that's the ability to get creative and to work at something better. So all of these are saying Sirius is better. Chiron and the North Node are in Aries. And the mission here is I need to do something for myself independently. I'm thinking out loud here a little bit. And then we've got Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. And it's because things are so split via the Sun and Pluto and Aquarius opposing the moon, it's almost like a sliding doors situation where you can glimpse one version of your life and then another. And it's more significant to make the responsible choice because the consequences are going to be long term. That's the message I'm getting here. So if I want to have fun and in the moment, that's what you get. And the consequences of that, there may be no consequences, or it may be that it's just poof, gone in a few days and then you're back to where you were. Or you take the other option, which says, I take all of this fiery, enthusiastic energy and I pour it into something sensible. And it has that feeling like I'm putting my money into a savings account where you then can't touch it. It's that kind of vibe where you'd feel a little reluctant to do it, but ultimately you know it's a good thing for further down the road. And if you manage to pour all of this into something constructive, particularly practical circumstances, work, etc., you'll really start to build something that can continue to grow over the next few months and years and then serve you in future. So it's an interesting dichotomy between, do you really want to help yourself in the long run, or do you want to help yourself in the short run? And no one can answer that for any of us except ourselves. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that I missed. We've got a grand trine in the chart. It doesn't connect with the moon, but it connects with Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, Uranus in Taurus, and Mercury and Mars in Capricorn. So a grand trine is an area of talent, and this one is in Earth. So the talent is to make a lot of progress, even if you don't necessarily feel like being sensible and productive and grounded and work-oriented. You really have a talent to get things moving there and to make something solid happen. It's kind of like a questionable choice. Do I just get to have a good time, or do I prolong my good time by working sensibly? That's what it is. So we have another grand trine in the chart, which is rare in itself. It's probably a bit banged up. Let me see. No, it works. So this one connects Venus in Capricorn with the rising Virgo, and then Jupiter in Taurus. So another grand trine in Earth. So getting your hands dirty and doing the work. You have exceptional talent. So it's one of those frustrating days where it's extremely fun if you choose that way, or extremely productive, as in you're able to do your best work as an artist, for instance, or you pick up the phone to the right company and they get your stuff in, you happen to speak to the right person. So it's really a bit of a tough one, because again, if for you, what's really a requirement is just to have a loungy day where you're talking to your best friend and you're walking around and having a good time. If that's what you need to do, then that's the big blessing. But we've got two to choose from, either really enjoying the present moment or working towards something fabulous in future. So if you're thinking of starting your own business, or if you're thinking of expanding the business and you have the freedom to do that, this is a great day to look at all of that. Let's see if there's anything else. We have another T-square between the South and North Node. That makes sense because they're always opposed. And then they peak with Mercury and Mars in Capricorn. Yeah, so if you want to get closer and warmer as far as your mission in life is concerned, working at it is better than poof, just running around. What's the message with that? It can't just be to torture you. No, you can't have fun and play with other people. You've got to be sensible. There's got to be more to it than that. Not that being sensible and consistent pays off as far as a lesson is concerned. I don't think it's that. I think that there's a price tag attached to both things on this day, and that's just the way it is. Like, you either pick yourself and your breezy way of living right now, or you get something really amazing done that helps you be footloose and breezy in future, but they both come at a cost. And when there's a cost, usually you get a valuable item. So you can have a valuable experience on this full moon day in Leo, whichever way forward you pick. And then if you look at it that way, if you're not having a good time, either way, you know something has gone wrong. So let's look at each sign of the zodiac then, and what area of your life this is going to show up in. This clarity of focus, this black and white kind of thinking, this I have a choice to make kind of energy. So Aries, you'll notice that there's a re-emergence of what you love and excitement returns. The extremes for you are, as far as the emotions are concerned, you could either be very focused and geared into doing something sensible, but you could blow up if things don't go your way, or you could become extravagant. So again, make that choice between me time or building time. And if you choose building time, just manage your temper on top of that, or be aware of it. if things don't go your way. Plan in extra time so the pressure's off. Taurus, be open to the opportunities that come your way during this full moon in Leo time, particularly in your working life. Opportunities that arise in that area of your life are very, very likely to succeed, so please do pursue those. Gemini, you may find that other people are moving too slowly for you. You may want to implement ideas in the moment, and you find that others are struggling to keep up. So instead of trying to change that, instead, be flexible and use energy in the areas where there's the least delay and things are going the quickest out of your different options. So again, with that, multitask. Cancer, you may get some good news from a family member or colleague around this time. Leo, you may find that your relationships seem to magically blossom during this period of the full moon in Leo, both personally or work-related relationships. So for you, it's an even harder choice because you can enjoy yourself massively and then even spark up a new relationship, or you can really use amazing relationships in the working or formal areas of your life to build something concrete. So whatever works for you, make sure you choose. That's really the thing here, that something needs to be chosen. It's almost like the question of testing has come up a few times. Virgo, you may have more support than you realize. Push through the fear of being your true self. There are good things waiting on the other side of that fear. Libra, expect good news that will ignite your interest in those around you. Scorpio, I'm smiling because everyone loves you during this period of the full moon in Leo. Enjoy the festivities and the celebrations of you and how far you've come. It's like a mutual appreciation society. So if there's nothing you need to build in future, you're really the sign of the zodiac who can really enjoy the good times. Sagittarius, you're the opposite. Expect to make exceptional progress in work that leads to a promotion, an increase in salary, or some offer that signals more freedom in your working life. So for you, it's important to try and pick being sensible and working towards something that will give you joy long term. Capricorn, you guys are going to come across in the best possible light this week. There's something very attractive about you this week. Interviews, appearing in person, any of those related things, use those opportunities to be in front of another person. If you're trying to cause an outcome or an effect, really use the power of your personality to make those things happen for yourself. Aquarius, practical considerations and networking, especially in a business-related way, that works out really well for you. But even before you look at things in a formal way, if you have anything to sell or organize, make sure you call friends, family, acquaintances, colleagues before just doing it anonymously, because it's likely that you're able to fill that gap, that need yourself through someone you know, rather than hiring a professional. So if that comes up, hold off on that. Pisces, you may have a feeling of, I've arrived. Expect the time of this full moon in Leo here to bring you lots of positives, but also this amazing sense of well-being. You get to coast a little bit here, and you get to dream even bigger. It's working well so far, so don't stop. So continue to ride the wave, Pisces. Okay, so that's what I get for you during this full moon in Leo. I hope it gives you an idea of what's coming up. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. And in my personal readings, I draw up your chart the way I drew up this chart. I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then that's not a problem. There's a process called chart rectification, where you send me 10 or more life events and I actually work out your time of birth. And the chart changes every 4 minutes, so it's kind of important to have it. If you have any questions around your relationships or what's coming up in future, best places to live, finances, spiritual development, friendships, hopes and dreams, career, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading via the website, gregoryscott.com. Check out some of my other videos, the monthly horoscopes for February. I did those differently for February. It's all in one video with timestamps, and I also use the tarot. Check out the weekly horoscopes, where I now also at the end include each sign of the zodiac. I do a daily tarot reading on this channel, so if you want to watch those, please become a member of my channel. And what else do I do? It's not coming to mind right now. I'm sure there's something. Weekly horoscope, monthlies, daily tarot reading. No, that's it by the sounds of it. Okay, so I hope this has given you something to go on. Have a fabulous time here during this full moon, and I will speak to you soon. All the best. Take care.